Hello everyone, welcome to Headlines of the Day. This is 4th of March 2022 and we are back again with some of the major articles from the Hindu newspaper. Let's begin our today's edition. From the very first page, you can find an article from GS2 International Relations that talks about Quad meeting amidst the tensions over Ukraine. So this article is about a suddenly convened Quad summit that was hosted by US President Joseph Biden on Thursday. So from this article, you'll get to know what is the new mechanism announced by Quad for humanitarian assistance in the Indo-Pacific and the impact of Ukrainian crisis on the region. What is the possible way forward? Moving on page number 1 itself, you'll find an article from GS2 Polity and Governance that talks about after Supreme Court order, Maharashtra says no election till the OBC reservation is restored. So this article revolves around the OBC reservation in Maharashtra. The key highlights from this article are Supreme Court's decision to quash reservation for other backward classes in local civic bodies in Maharashtra. What is the need for reservation? How did Supreme Court verdict in 2021 affect OBCs? And with that, you have to also know about the reservation in India, constitutional provisions governing reservation in India, the Mandal Commission recommendations, the 102nd Amendment to the Constitutional Judicial Verdicts, key analysis, and the possible way forward. Let's move on to page number 6. You'll find an article from GS2 Polity and Governance that talks about the Mekedatu project. Now, this article is about a dam project. From this article, the key highlights you have to consider: what is the Mekedatu Dam project? Why is Tamil Nadu opposed to the project? So, how does the project add a new chapter to the river dispute saga? Moving on page number 6 itself, again from GS2 Polity and Governance, you'll find an article that talks about Noko Kuli. Now, Noko Kuli is a gawking feast. So the article is headlined as Draft Legislation Suggests 2-year jail for Noko Kuli. From this article, the key highlights to consider are what is Noko Kuli and the recent draft legislation that is linked to it. Moving on page number 8, you'll find an article from GS3 Science and Technology that is headlined as Find Space for New Science, Its Ethical Dilemmas. So this is an editorial article, and the key highlights to consider from this article are what are the recent fascinating developments in science and technology, their repercussions for public life, what are their implications for state interference in our privacy, what are the ethical issues these medical advances raise for human societies, and what is the possible way forward. Now on page number 8 itself, you'll find an article from GS2 International Relations that is headlined as Not Taking Sides. The key highlights from this article to consider are you have to know about the UNGA, UN General Assembly recent resolution that deplored in the strongest terms Russia's attack on Ukraine and demanded an immediate withdrawal of Russian troops. Also, what is India's position? How it is necessary for India to engage more deeply with the conflict in Europe, and what is the possible way forward. Well, moving on page number 8 itself, you'll find an article from GS2 Social Justice that is headlined as Care Informed by Data. India must pursue schemes for rehabilitation of children orphaned by the pandemic. From this article, what are the key highlights to consider? You have to know about the recent Lancet estimates of COVID-19 associated orphanhood. What is India's response and why is there a need to pursue schemes for rehabilitation of children orphaned by the pandemic? Let's move on to page number 12. From GS3 Economy section, you'll find an article about tax evasion. Now, this article is headlined as Huge Tax Evasion Done by the Multinational Group, says the IT department. So from this article, the general things to consider are what is tax evasion, ways of tax evasion in India, causes of tax evasion, impact on economy, some measures taken by the government in this regard, and what more needs to be done in this particular context. All right, moving on page number 13, from GS2 International Relations section, you'll find an article about the AIIB, that is the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Now, this article is headlined as Beijing-based AIIB puts Russia-Belarus project on hold. So from this article, you have to learn facts related to the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Moving further on page number 14, let's take the last article of the day from GS3 Economy section. So this article is headlined as Trade Deficit Seen High to Widen the CAD. From this article, some of the key highlights to consider are what is trade deficit, concerns and impacts of trade deficits, and the government policy and measures. So, this is a wrap of today's edition of Headlines of the Day. I hope you liked the video. For regular updates, you can follow us on our social media handles. And for more such videos, do stay tuned to the Next IAS YouTube channel.